Let's consider the situation where we have two quantitative variables, and we're interested in whether or not there is some relationship between them. So for example, two quantitative variables might be things like height and weight, or maybe years of education and income. And so in this video, we're going to demonstrate the first step in examining the relationship between two quantitative variables, and that is to create a scatter diagram or a scatter plot. Now, the two variables we're going to use in this video are distance to and commute to from the early fall '09 class survey. You might remember that distance to is the distance in miles a student travels from home to the college, and commute to is the time in minutes that a student typically takes to commute from home to the college. Now, to create the scatter plot, we're going to go to the menus at the top of the page, click on Graph, Scatterplot, and select Simple. Now we have to identify which variable we want to plot on the y-axis and which variable goes on the x-axis. Let's select commute to go to the y-axis, and we'll select distance to be plotted on the x-axis. Click OK, and we have our scatter plot. Now, this is the first step in assessing the relationship, if any, between the two variables. Each point on the plot represents the commute time and distance traveled for a single student in our data set. And so it certainly looks like there's a general trend in our data. The greater the distance a student has to travel to the college, the greater the commute time tends to be. Now, it's important to remember that the visual interpretation of a graph like this can depend on the way the graph is created, in particular in how the axes are scaled. So what we need is a way to more clearly characterize the relationship between two quantitative variables, one that doesn't depend on the way we choose to set the scales on the scatter plot. And so this will be the subject of our next video, where we'll see how to calculate the Pearson linear correlation coefficient.